Welcome to Fear It Goes, the podcast all about taking your fears with you and doing it anyway. I'm your host, Brandy Taylor. Beautiful souls, and welcome back to Fear It Goes. Oh my goodness. I have been dealing with a lot of entrepreneurs lately. You guys are beautiful. I love you so much because you have these crazy minds that are always coming up with these incredible ideas. Now, I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with going the employment route. Nothing wrong with that at all. What I've just been experiencing over this last bit working with entrepreneurs is that they are risk takers. Obviously, I've been an entrepreneur my whole life. Very seldom have I actually walked into a position of employment. And when I have, it's fine, but it feels like it's not my idea. And I'm not the best employee for that reason. I don't like running with other people's ideas. I love running with my own and really creating something with movement. And that's typically an entrepreneur. So anyways, back to my entrepreneurs. I've been working with a lot of entrepreneurs lately. And of course, the discussion around I need more clients, I want more clients is always coming up. Because I mean, any entrepreneur is always looking for a solid business that is perpetuating great experiences both for the client and for themselves, right? So I had this discussion with a friend of mine who actually is an employee, but very much an entrepreneur mindset, but fascinating person anyways. So we're sitting there and we're talking about clients and a trade show that they were just at and what had happened. And I said, well, obviously the ultimate goal is more clients. I said, but have you thought about the way you're looking at gaining more clients? Because most people think, oh, I just need to, talk to more people and yes, it's true. But understanding your value before you even have that discussion is pinnacle. And also thinking about it from how can I serve this client in the absolute best way? What can I bring to the table that is me, that makes this transaction, this experience, I don't want to say transaction, that's terrible actually, this experience with me and my company and this client very unique, right? What is it that I'm bringing to the table? So I'm having this discussion around this with my friend who's an employee. I'm having this discussion with an entrepreneur today. So what makes us different? So the entrepreneur, he says, I have this person come into my office and they literally saw someone like me. He's an advisor and he does a beautiful job with his clients. And he says, he just found another firm that he's gone with 3 weeks before he saw me. And I said, okay. And he said, yeah, but that firm does everything that I can do. Okay, but what makes you unique? So then we're talking about this real estate coach. He's a real estate coach. And he's put a total spin on something that all these people already know. But he's taken the concept that, okay, so I'm an advisor, you're an advisor, and 3 others on the other side are advisors, and they're all doing the same stuff. And we all care and make sure that you are, we're growing your funds, we're making sure that your retirement's set up, we're doing all these things, right? But what way are you packaging you that makes you unique? So this is what he and I were talking about today. And I said, okay, well, first things first, find out what your clients' pains are right now. Because we have a very interesting situation here in our city. Things have not been the best since 2014-15, and it's still somewhat like that. So I said, well, poll them. Send out a questionnaire and ask them. And then this way, you get 2 things. One, you find out what's really bothering them, what's keeping them up at night. You find out what really matters in their life, and you find out their wording. So when you're speaking to your clients or when you're speaking to your prospective client that you're going to do something really amazing with, you speak to their hearts, you speak to their souls, because you're using their words and you know what their pains are. And stop looking at your business as just one thing. Look at their lives and how you can help their life. How can you help their life? How can you make their life easier, better, happier? It was really such an interesting discussion because he hadn't thought of it that way. He was just looking at the finance side of it. Well, how do I how do I take care of risk, and how do I take care of increasing their financial goals, right? How do we attain those? When we stop looking at our goal, which is more clients, and we start looking at the client and thinking, how can I make this a better experience for them? What can I do that will make this ideal for them? How can I make their life better? That client is going to love you, never want to leave you, and that client will want to talk about you. Where are you coming at your goals with your business? What place are you coming at it from? We're talking about how you integrate some of the I think these are simple principles, but simple principles in stuff that I teach outside of business, but how it relates to business. There's many key principles that we need or that we have learned for ourselves that we aren't integrating in other areas in our life. And these integrations are actually quite easy. Sometimes you just need a little shove. You just need a little someone to point you in the right direction because you were already there. You just didn't know it yet. So back to my friend with the trade show. It was kind of the same thing. I said, so how are you looking at your clients? What kind of experience are you offering them? How can you make this the most exceptional experience for them so that all they want to do is work with you? Polling is a great way. There is a fantastic book. If you have not read Ryan Levesque's book, Ask, read it. It's fantastic. If you have not read Simon Sinek's Start With Why, read it. Or Find Your Why, read it. Because these two specific books will talk about meaning in life. And when we know the meaning of what we're trying to achieve, it's so much easier to attain. And it also gets to the root of what really matters in people's lives. Because I may say I want more money, but really it's not about the money. It's about all the things that money's going to do. Right? I may want more clients. It's about what that means. So often when I think about I want more clients, I really want to serve as many people as I possibly can and help them serve as many people as they possibly can. I want to always influence. I want to create movement. Not one person at a time, but many at a time. How can I do this in the biggest, most successful way to help more people? I don't know. That's just how I look at life. How can I help more? And when you come at it from that space, everything else falls into place. People want to work with you because they see that you're just as driven as they are and you totally have their back. Right? What kind of experience are you bringing to the table? And if you don't know your value, you can't even bring that. You can't bring it. You can't package it because you don't know what it is. So find out what your value is. And that is you digging into you and knowing who you are and what your uniqueness is that you bring. And then you package it. And then it's surprising how successful you will become for that reason. You know your value. You bring it to the table every single time. People can't help but notice you when you walk in a room because you have that confidence. You have that strength. You have that power that you walk in with because you know what you're bringing. Hell yes. Bring it, baby. Bring it. Always bring it. And know your value. I was doing a talk about last weekend, and I was talking about goal setting. And I was talking about Clarity Course a little bit, but really I was talking about goal setting. And then I talked about value, and I said, how can you bring that? How can you expect your clients to know what they get from you and this experience with you if you don't know what you're bringing? If you don't know your own value, how can you ever depict that to somebody else. You can't, right? And I remember when I first went into finance years ago, this was me. I didn't know what I brought to the table. I would let people walk out of my office without actually really doing something that I knew they should do, because I just let people do their own shit. I thought, well, hey, if I educate them, then they're educated enough to make their own choices, which is true, and I do stand by that. But there are also moments when someone just needs a little bit extra guidance, a little bit extra. They need you to listen to them a little bit more, to dig in a little bit more, because what you're bringing, and when you know your value, you know what you're bringing is so powerful for their life, and you know that. And sometimes people will just never see a value in anything because they don't see the value in themselves. It's hard to see value in other people when you can't find the value in yourself, or you don't appreciate value. If I can't pay for something because I see the value in it, then I can't see the value in it. It's unfortunate. And that does happen. And I mean, you will not win every client. And if you're one of those clients, I hope you have sat across a desk or in an audience, or whatever the circumstance is, that you've become a client. I hope that they have given you the most incredible value in the experience you have with whomever that provider is. Whatever the service is, whatever the product is, whatever the guidance is. I provide a service, and I know what I bring to the table. And I know every single time that someone comes on board with me, I know what happens. I know the transformation. I get so excited. I'm lit up for them. I am so stoked because I love watching the transformation. I love watching the shifts in people. I love the thank yous and the tears that come often because they're so happy. It sounds funny, tears, right? Tears and happy. Oh, happy tears are great. Know your value. Bring that to the table. Always put your clients first. Really, truly put them first. And sometimes we're going to have clients who don't see our value, and those aren't really the clients you want to have, right? You want to have clients who align with you. Stop trying to put square pegs in round holes. That was another thing I talked to a client about today, was stop trying to put square pegs in round holes. When you do hiring, when you hire the right person for the position. It seems so obvious, right? No. People do this all the time. Have a very clear vision of what that person will be doing and whether or not the person will fit the role. I also fell into that role when I was an advisor, and the first few runs at hiring for me were, I really like them. They're a good person. They'll do a good job. Oh, no. And I didn't articulate it very well either at the time. But my last hire was spectacular. It was such a symbiotic relationship. I could not have asked for a better assistant. And that was such a great gift. Her to me and me to her. And that's the way it should be, right? It should always be win-wins with you and your clients, with you and your staff, or you as staff, and you and your boss. However that should work, whatever the dynamic is, it should be win-win. And that happens often when you know your value, they know your value, and that aligns. So today we're talking about value. Know your value, know what makes you unique, and bring it. Never hide that. Never be ashamed, and do it unapologetically. Know who you are. Okay, so the 2 books, I'm going to say that again. Simon Sinek, Start with Why. Beautiful read. Such a great book. Ryan Levesque, Ask. Great book also. Really, really great advice for anybody who's looking at finding the deeper meanings of their business, how to talk to clients, how to really connect with people, how to connect with yourself in some ways. All these books are great. These 2 books are really, really great. They're 2 of my faves when it comes to early business techniques. So my beautiful peeps, that's just going to be our podcast for today. I just had these thoughts rolling around and I was like, I really want to talk to you about them because I think they're important. I think you need to know your value, and I think you need to be able to take that out into your business because you are unique. Know that what you bring is not the same as anybody else because they would have had to have lived your life and lived all your experiences to bring the same stuff. You bring something unique. All you got to do is drill down and figure it out. All right, beautiful peeps, until next week, have an absolutely exceptional week and go out and be the exception to the rule.